What if the meaning you have been searching for your entire life is not a treasure buried in the ground, not a secret whispered in a temple, not a revelation that will strike you like lightning on a mountaintop, but is instead something you must create out of the debris of everything you have lost, out of the ashes of every dream that has crumbled out of the silence that follows every scream? And the creation is not a single act. It is 1,000 acts, 1,000,000 acts, a lifetime of acts. Each one small, each one ordinary, each one a brick in the cathedral of your existence. And you have been waiting for the cathedral to appear fully formed, waiting for the meaning to descend from the heavens. But the heavens are silent. The heavens are indifferent. The heavens are a mirror reflecting your own hesitation. And the only meaning that will ever exist is the meaning you hammer into being with the sweat of your brow and the blood of your heart. And today, we are going to stop waiting. We are going to stop searching. We are going to pick up the hammer. We are going to gather the rubble. We are going to build. And the building will be ugly. It will be crooked. It will be imperfect. But it will be ours. And it will be alive. And it will be the only thing that has ever been real. The first story is a story of a man who lived in a world of silence. A world where no one spoke. Where no one sang. Where no one whispered, and the silence was not a choice. It was a curse that had been placed on the village by a sorcerer who was tired of the noise, and the villagers had adapted. They had learned to communicate with gestures, with glances, with the subtle language of the body, and they were functional, they were peaceful, they were quiet, but they were also empty because the silence had taken something from them, something essential, something that made them human. And one day, a child was born who could speak, a child who was immune to the curse. And the child was a miracle, a blessing, a terror, because the child's voice was a weapon that could shatter the silence, a weapon that could break the curse. And the villagers were afraid. They were terrified of the voice. They had grown so accustomed to the silence that the voice felt like a violation, a threat, an invasion, and they wanted to silence the child. They wanted to keep the silence intact. But the child refused. The child spoke, and the voice was not a scream. It was a song of joy, a song of sorrow, a song of life. And the villagers listened, and they wept because they had forgotten the sound of their own souls. And the twist is that the curse was not broken by the voice. It was broken by the listening. The listening was the thing that shattered the silence. The listening was the thing that brought them back to themselves. The listening was the thing that made them human again. And they said, the silence was not a curse. It was a gift that taught us to hear, and the voice was not a weapon. It was a mirror that showed us our own forgotten song, and the song is the meaning. The song is the life. The song is the truth. The second story is a story of a painter who painted only in gray because she was afraid of color, afraid of the chaos, the emotion, the vulnerability that color demanded, and she was a master of gray. She could paint the most subtle shades, the most nuanced shadows, the most exquisite silences, and her paintings were admired. They were celebrated. They were collected by the most discerning patrons. But she was not satisfied, because the gray was a cage of her own making, a cage that protected her from the terror of the rainbow. And one day she met a child who was blind, a child who could not see the gray, a child who could not see the paintings. And the child said, "What do you paint?" And the painter said, "I paint the world." And the child said, "What is the world like?" And the painter was silent because she had been painting the world in gray. But the world was not gray. The world was a riot of color, and she had been lying to herself. She had been lying to the child. She had been lying to the world. And she took the child's hand, and she led her into a garden of flowers, a garden of every color imaginable. And she said, "This is the world. It is full of color. It is full of chaos. It is full of life, and I have been painting it in gray. Because I was afraid of the color, I was afraid of the life. I was afraid of the chaos, but I am not afraid anymore. I am going to paint the color. I am going to paint the chaos. I am going to paint the life." And the twist is that she did not abandon gray. She used it as the foundation, the shadow that made the color sing, and her paintings became masterpieces not because they were perfect, but because they were true. And she said the gray was a home, but the color is the world, and the world is the meaning, and the meaning is the color, and the color is the life. The third story is a story of a king who had everything: a kingdom, a queen, a treasury full of gold, and an army that was invincible. But he was not happy. He was miserable. He was empty, because he had everything except meaning. And he sent his advisors to find the meaning of life, and they traveled the world. They consulted the sages, they read the ancient texts, and they returned with answers, 1,000 answers. 1,000,000 answers, but none of them satisfied the king, and he was frustrated. He was angry. He was desperate. And one day he met a beggar on the street, a beggar who was not asking for money, a beggar who was asking for a conversation, and the king was intrigued. He said, "What is the meaning of life?" And the beggar said, "The meaning of life is the question. The question is the meaning. And you have been asking the wrong question. You have been asking, what is the meaning of life? But the question is not what, the question is who. The question is who is asking, and the answer is not a thing. It is a person, it is you. You are the meaning. Your life is the meaning, your choices are the meaning, your love is the meaning, your loss is the meaning is not out there. The meaning is in here, in your heart, in your hands, in your breath." And the king was silent, and he wept, because he had been searching for a treasure that was in his own pocket. And the twist is that he did not become a beggar. He became a king who ruled with compassion, a king who understood that the meaning was not in the crown, it was in the connection to his people, his family, his own soul. And he said, "The treasure was always in my pocket. The kingdom was always in my heart. The meaning was always in my breath. And I am the meaning, and you are the meaning, and we are the meaning. And the meaning is the connection, and the connection is the life." The fourth story is a story of a musician who played the most beautiful music in the world, but he was deaf. He could not hear his own music, and he was famous. He was celebrated. He was the greatest musician of his generation. But he was also a fraud, because he was playing the music of others. He was mimicking the sounds he had heard before he lost his hearing, and he was convincing. He was brilliant. He was a master of imitation, but he was also empty because he had never heard his own song, his own voice, his own truth. And one day he met a child who was also deaf, a child who had never heard any music. And the child said, "Teach me to play." And the musician was confused. He said, "But I cannot hear. I cannot teach you what I cannot hear." And the child said, "You can teach me what you feel. You can teach me the vibration, the resonance, the emotion. You can teach me the music that is not in the sound, but in the soul." And the musician was silent, and he realized that the child was right. He had been playing the sound, but he had not been playing the soul. And he started to play differently. He started to play the feeling, the vibration, the resonance, and the music was different. It was raw. It was authentic. It was his. And the twist is that the music became more popular than ever because people could feel the truth in it. The truth of a man who had stopped imitating and started creating. And he said, "The hearing was a distraction. The silence was the teacher, and the teacher taught me to listen with my heart. And the heart is the music, and the music is the meaning, and the meaning is the vibration that connects us all." The fifth story is a story of a woman who was born with a map on her skin, a map that showed the path to a great treasure, a treasure that would give her unlimited power, unlimited wealth, unlimited happiness. And she spent her life following the map. She traveled the world. She crossed oceans. She climbed mountains. She endured every hardship. And she was determined. She was relentless. She was unstoppable. And finally, she reached the location marked on the map, and she dug, and she dug, and she dug, and she found a chest of gold, a chest of jewels, a chest of unimaginable riches, and she was ecstatic. She was victorious. She had achieved her destiny. But then she looked at the treasure and she felt nothing. She felt empty. She felt hollow because the treasure was not the meaning. The journey was the meaning. And she had been so focused on the destination that she had missed the journey. She had missed the people she met, the lessons she learned, the person she had become. And the twist is that she did not take the treasure, she left it. She buried it again. She covered it with dirt, and she walked away not with empty hands, but with a full heart. A heart that was full of the journey, the struggle, the growth. And she said, the treasure was a lie. The map was a lie. The meaning was in the walking. The walking was the treasure. And the treasure is the life. The sixth story is a story of a village that was destroyed by a flood that washed away every house, every field, every memory, and the villagers were devastated. They were hopeless. They were lost. And they stood on the hill watching the water recede, and they saw the rubble, the debris, the ruin of their home, and they wept. They wept for the loss of everything they had known. And one of them, an old woman, said, "We must rebuild." And the others were angry. They said, "Rebuild. There's nothing left. Everything is gone. We have nothing." And the old woman said, "We have each other. We have our hands. We have our hearts, and that is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything." And she picked up a stone, a single stone from the rubble, and she placed it on the ground. And she said, "This is the foundation. This is the beginning. This is the meaning." The meaning is not in the buildings. The meaning is in the building. The meaning is in the act of rebuilding. The meaning is in the choice to continue the choice, to hope the choice to create. And the villagers were silent, and they picked up stones one by one, and they rebuilt. They rebuilt their homes, their fields, their memories, and the twist is that the new village was not the same as the old. It was different. It was stronger. It was more beautiful because it was built not from memory, but from love. And they said, the flood was not the end. The flood was the beginning of a new village, a new life, a new meaning, and the meaning is in the rebuilding. The rebuilding is the life, and the life is the love. The seventh story is a story of a king who was cursed to live forever, and the curse was a blessing because he could not die. He could not be killed, he could not be harmed, but it was also a torment because he could not grow, he could not change, he could not evolve. He was frozen in time, a statue of his former self, and he watched his kingdom rise and fall. His friends die, his enemies fade, and he was alone. He was the only constant, the only permanence, the only thing that did not change, and he was miserable. He was desperate. He was ready to give up his immortality for a single moment of mortality, a single moment of change, a single moment of life. And one day he met a wise woman, a woman who was not afraid of him, a woman who said, the curse is not the immortality, the curse is the belief that you are separate, the belief that you are eternal, the belief that you are the center. You are not the center. You are a part of the whole. You are a part of the change. You are part of the flow, and the flow is the life, the flow is the meaning, the flow is the liberation. Let go of the belief, let go of the center, let go of the self, and you will be free. And the king was silent, and he realized that the wise woman was right. He had been clinging to his self, his identity, his permanence, and that was the prison. And he let go. He let go of the self, he let go of the identity, he let go of the permanence. And he dissolved into the flow. He became the river, the wind, the star, and the twist is that he did not lose himself. He found himself. He found himself in everything, in everyone, in every moment, and he said, the immortality was a cage. The mortality is the freedom, and the freedom is the meaning. The meaning is the change is the life, and the life is the flow. The eighth story is a story of a farmer who planted a seed, a single seed in a field that was barren, and he watered it, he tended it, he protected it, and he waited, and he waited, and he waited, and the seed did not grow, it did not sprout, it did not change, and the farmer was frustrated, he was angry, he was ready to give up, and he said, this seed is dead. This field is cursed. My effort is wasted. And he was about to walk away, but a child came to him. A child who said, wait, the seed is not dead. The seed is sleeping, and the sleeping is the growing. The growing is not always visible. The growing is happening under the surface, in the dark, in the silence. In one day, it will break through, it will find the light, and it will become a tree that will bear fruit for 100 years. But you must be patient. You must trust. You must believe in the seed. You must believe in the process. You must believe in the meaning. And the farmer was silent, and he waited. He waited for another year, and the seed sprouted, it grew. It became a tree that bore fruit, a tree that fed the village, a tree that was the heart of the community. And the twist is that the farmer did not take credit for the tree. He said, "The tree was not my doing." The tree was the seed was the meaning, and the meaning is the patience. The meaning is the trust. The meaning is the belief in the invisible, the belief in the invisible, the belief in the life. The 9th story is a story of a poet who wrote a poem that was so sad that everyone who read it wept, and the poet was proud of the poem because it was powerful, it was moving, it was true. But he was also concerned because the poem was making people sad, and he wanted to make them happy. He wanted to bring joy, not sorrow, and he tried to write a happy poem, a poem of joy, a poem of celebration, but it was not as powerful, it was not as moving, it was not as true. And he was confused, he was frustrated, he was lost. And one day, he met an old man who said, "The poem is not about the sadness, the poem is about the connection. The connection is the meaning, and the connection happens in the shared emotion, whether it is joy or sorrow. The emotion is the bridge, and the bridge is the meaning. And you have been trying to build a bridge of joy, but the bridge of sorrow is just as strong, just as real, just as true, because the truth is not always happy. The truth is sometimes sad. And the sadness is the door to the understanding. The understanding is the door to the compassion. And the compassion is the door to the love. And the love is the meaning." And the poet was silent, and he realized that the old man was right, and he stopped trying to write happy poems. He started writing true poems that were sometimes sad, sometimes joyful, sometimes both. And the twist is that the poems became more popular than ever. Because they were real, they were human, they were a mirror of the human heart. And he said, "The sadness is not the enemy. The sadness is the teacher, and the teacher teaches us to feel, and the feeling is the meaning, and the meaning is the connection, and the connection is the love." The 10th story is a story of a man who was lost in a desert of sand and stone, a desert that stretched to the horizon in every direction. And he was walking for days, for weeks, for months, and he was desperate, he was hopeless. He was ready to die, and he fell to his knees, and he prayed to the gods, he prayed to the universe, he prayed to the silence. And he said, "Give me a sign, give me a meaning, give me a reason to continue." And the silence was absolute. There was no answer, no sign, no meaning, and he was about to give up. He was about to lie down and let the desert take him. But then he saw something, a flower, a single flower growing out of a crack in the stone, a flower that was small, fragile, and impossibly beautiful. And he looked at the flower, and he realized that the flower was the sign. The flower was the meaning, the flower was the reason, because the flower had no water, no soil, no reason to grow. But it was growing, it was alive. It was a testament to the resilience of life. And he picked up the flower, he held it in his hand, and he continued walking. And he found an oasis, a village, a home, and he spent the rest of his life telling the story of the flower that saved him, the flower that showed him the meaning. And the twist is that the flower was not a sign from the gods. It was a sign from himself, a sign of his own resilience, his own capacity to find beauty in the barren, his own ability to create meaning from nothing. And he said, "The desert was not the enemy. The desert was the teacher, and the teacher taught me to see the flower, and the flower is the meaning, and the meaning is the life, and the life is the resilience, and the resilience is the love."